My name is Mohammed Zakria and I am going to talk about the Government of India Act 1935. First of all, starting with the introduction. The Government of India Act was passed by the British government in the year 1935. It was one of the lengthiest acts at that time as it contained 321 sections and 10 schedules. Once the act was passed, the government saw that it was too lengthy to be regulated with efficiency, and thus the government decided to divide it into two parts for the act to function in a proper manner: the Government of India Act 1935 and the Government of Burma Act 1935. Next, we are going to talk about how did the act came into force. The Government Act of 1919 was not satisfactory at all and was too short in its provisions for the self-government form to be imposed in the country. The provisions of the Act were not enough to fulfill the national aspiration that the people of the country expected, after which a lot of discussions took place which also led to the Rowlatt Act in the same year. When the Simon Commission report came out, it was seen that the report was not satisfactory, which would lead to the consultation with then Indian community representatives at the Round Table Conference held in London. The matter was important and was discussed in the round tables of 1930, 1931 and 1932. On the basis of reports generated by the government, it constituted a committee consisting of 20 representatives from the British India, which consisted of 7 members from Indian states, which included 5 Muslims. Afterwards, it discussed in the session which started in 1933, and after a lot of debate upon the topic and white papers, gave its reports at the end of 1934, stating to pass the Act. After which the matter went to the Parliament, and the Parliament gave its assent to pass the Act, and which was passed in the year 1935, and came to be known as the Government of India Act 1935. The provisions and the material of the Act were mainly derived from the Nehru Report, Lothian Report, Simon Commission Report, the White Papers, the Joint Selection Commission Report to form the Act. One of the reasons for the enactment of the Act were the leaders who urged and fought to bring the reforms in the country through these acts. Next, we are going to talk about the importance of the Act, which is really significant in the history. The introduction of the Act ended the diarchy system by giving more freedom to British India for better governance in the form of provincial autonomy, and established a diarchy at the centre. There was a division of the federal subjects between the centre and the provinces, as the division made in the Act of 1919 was revised. This Act is of utmost importance because it leads to the relationship of dominion status, which urged the need for independence again in the minds of the people. The main provision of the Act was to make the Governor-General pivot of the Constitution to settle if there were any disputes among the people. An important provision of the Act was the protection of minorities such as women and safeguarding their rights. Next, we are going to talk about the notable features of the Act. One of them, and the most important feature of the Act, was that it introduced a diarchy at the central level in the government. Also, there was some separation of states which led to the creation of 2 new states, Sindh and Orissa. Also, the Act extended the franchise by giving 10% voting rights to the public, which was a great extension of rights to the people. Next, we are going to talk about why did the Act of 1935 fail. Even though the Act had so much to promise to the people for the welfare, but still both the Muslim Leagues and the Indian National Congress expressed their dissatisfaction over the Act. It was because the Act of 1935 was not able to deliver anything that could turn out in its implementation. Now, one of the reasons that the Act of 1935 failed because the concept of an All India Federation failed. Now, the concept of an All India Federation failed because the representation power of the princely states was still in the hand of the British, so the concept of an All India Federation could not be implemented. Also, the Act failed to provide flexibility to the people at the constitutional level in regard to the amendments of right, as the power to change or alter any right was present with the British government, while the Indians could not do anything according to their needs. Also, the Act failed to provide a proper federal structure. Majority of the power was with the Governor General, who was not at all responsible for the central legislature, which meant that the legislature was not governed properly. Now, talking about the notable difference between the Government Act of 1935 and 1919, one of them is that the 1935 Act did not talk about the preamble, while the Act of 1919 was provided for a preamble. Also, the 1935 Act proclaimed a bicameral legislature, which means the one house of the assembly was called the Indian Legislature Assembly and the other house of the assembly was the Council of State. The Council of the State was the upper house that was a permanent body, that is, that it could not be dissolved like the lower house of the parliament. 1/3 members of the upper house had to retire after every 3 years. The lower house of the assembly, the Indian Legislature Assembly, was not an independent body. The laws passed by the assembly could be vetoed by Governor General. The legislature had no control over the legislature under this act. Also, there was the distribution of power among various people to accomplish their goal of a federal India in the Government Act of 1935. While in the Government of India Act 1919 there was almost no distribution of power, as the head had the power to take all the decision on his own. Now, concluding the topic of Government of India Act 1935, it was a major step toward the independence and helped in the reorganization of states, such as Sindh was separated from the province of Bombay. Similarly, Bihar and Orissa were separated. Aden, which was earlier a part of the country, was separated and was then made a new crown colony. The Government of India Act was a total failure, as it was not able to give what it had purposed. The concept of diarchy that was brought proved to be wrong, and also the act was opposed by both the parties, the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League. Hindu leader Madam Mohan greatly criticized this act, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said on the emergency right of the Governor General and the governors that this act provided, that this act was like a machine that had strong brakes and no engine. Also, Muhammad Ali Jinnah said this scheme thoroughly rotten, fundamentally bad and totally unacceptable. This concludes our topic of the Government of India Act 1935. Thank you very much for listening.